Guys, I'm not blocking my blessings in 2026, and neither should you. As a life design coach, this is super easy to spot in clients. You can tell when they're holding themselves back or they're not tapping into their potential, but it's harder to spot within, especially when I've done a lot of work on myself. Just for context, I actually used to be a really self-deprecating person, and over time I've got so much better. I'm self-assured, I speak highly of myself, but I didn't realize there was little subtle insecurities that were creeping in. I was reminded again earlier in the week when I got the opportunity to run a workshop for a corporate company, and it was on the topic of recruitment. Now, for those of you who don't know, my background is sales and marketing. It was a management development program. So I recruited people day in, day out for like years. As well as that, obviously, I help people through transitions, anyone who's pivoting in life, and sometimes people want to switch roles. So I have quite a lot of knowledge when it comes to the workforce, should I say. And the workshop went really well, but it got me thinking how initially I sucked at recruitment. I was like terrible to a point where even though it was part of my role, I actively like avoided it because it made me feel so crap because I just wasn't good at it. And over time, after a lot of practice, I actually became really, really good at it. But I had to find an approach that worked for me. And I'm going to share something with you guys. Towards the latter part of last year, I kept saying to everyone, I'm not a content creator. And everyone looked at me really funnily. Like everyone looked at me like, but you post so much content. I post like 600 times a month on my Instagram. I've got a podcast. I'm always filming something, putting it online, whatever. And I was so adamant that I wasn't a content creator that I even wrote a poem about it where I literally said, I'm not a content creator. But it was ironic because then I was like, but I do create content that resonates. And that's true. I want to create content of substance. But even I didn't really understand why I was so adamant in telling people that I wasn't this thing. Anyway, I figured it out. So I'm not a visual person. I cannot visualize anything in my brain, in my mind's eye. I also don't have an inner dialogue. So how I process information is genuinely just through words. It's probably the reason why I have always been into like poetry, writing, words. And I think it makes sense why I've gravitated towards coaching and facilitation, workshops, speaking. All I have is words, right? I think that's why I really enjoyed like Twitter back in the day in like 2016 or 2019, because I could just constantly type and write, but I'm not visual. It's probably the same reason why my wardrobe is like black joggers and a hoodie. Even going clothes shopping stresses me out because I don't really have that visual disposition, essentially. And I think I associated content creation with, great visuals, great aesthetics. And I'll be honest with you, I'm the person that changes the font and the color scheme constantly. Like I have no brand coherence. And that insecurity meant that I was already taking myself off the table. And I'm going to be super honest with you, I actually like creating content. I like concepts, ideas, frameworks. I'm really into storytelling. I love narrative. It's actually part of my coaching. Like I help people craft their story and reframe it. I love it. But because I feel like I had such a rigid view of what content creation is, I was already blocking any opportunities that could come my way. And I don't want to do that anymore. Even though I was posting so much, it was almost like I had to let everybody know that I'm not an expert in this. I'm not great at this. And the workshop that I ran the other day just reminded me that the price of entry for mastery is the cost of being a beginner. And if I don't want to block these opportunities, I just need to own it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be very conscious of what I put out and what I say I am and I'm not. And I'm going to allow myself to be a beginner. I'm going to be deliberate with practicing, and I'm not going to take myself off the table. And similar to recruitment, I'm just going to change my approach. I don't have to do things like everybody else. I'm not blocking my blessings anymore. So here's me owning it. My name is Davika. I'm a life design coach and creator.